First time home buyer tips. If you guys are looking at purchasing your first home, one of the biggest things I can stress is do not use a call center as your lender. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. It's gonna make you less competitive as an offer. You're gonna have lower service. It's gonna be harder for your real estate agent to get updates. It's overall a negative on your scorecard when a realtor's looking at your offer, okay? And you don't even get a benefit from it. Seriously. So, I mean, and do the exercise, because a lot of times people go, oh, well, I've seen all their ads and they've been around forever and they must be great, right? Right? Okay, well, sometimes yeah, but sometimes no. And the problem is there's more sometimes no, which has made it so that when your offers are about, it poisons the well. Okay, I used to have, and it still happens, not as much because they've like pretty much banned it in this county. So there was a specific county in California where I get calls all the time. Hey Jen, guess who screwed it up again? We need you to rescue the deal. And I was like, oh, is it faster? Okay, cool, let me get involved. Okay, and they would be like, hey, we want you to get cross-qualified with our lender when there were pre-approvals. And there's like a handful of call centers where the real estate agents were so suspect because they'd had bad experiences. Okay, now look, am I saying call centers can't close a deal? No, I'm not saying that at all. Like refinances, whatever, great, fantastic, still not necessarily as good as a retail lender, but for a purchase, I would be very, very hesitant to use them. It is not something I personally would use. I'm not just saying that because I'm a retail loan officer. I'm saying that because I know how the sausage is made, right? And based on how the sausage is made, it's not at the best benefit for you, the client, okay? Now, sometimes people go, oh, well, since it's a call center, I'll get a lower rate and lower fees. No, not necessarily at all. Like sometimes the call centers are a lot higher. It depends on who you get on the phone and what their pricing is for the day and what they think they can get away with. In many cases, okay? There was a lender, huge national lender, where for the last 2 years, I literally would tell clients, they'd be like, oh, well, they're giving me this with no points. I'd be like, just when you get the loan estimate, send it over. And lo and behold, every single time when we looked at that loan estimate, we'd be like, you're paying 2 points. And they'd be like, wait, what? They told me on the phone I wasn't gonna have to pay that. And I'm like, yeah, they're assuming you don't know how to read a loan estimate because the average American consumer does not know how to read the loan estimate. I don't know, like my suspicion at the time was that there was a manager in that call center that was just putting so much pressure because in a call center, the lenders are paid less than a retail loan officer, less than even a lender that works in a bank branch, totally less than a broker, okay? So they get paid less, they're on regimented schedules, it's clock in, it's clock out, you better get this many apps, there's sales metrics they have to hit, it's very boiler room. Okay, and there was a mortgage company recently that let off a ton of people. It was all over the news because of the way that they were let off. And it's worth Googling that. Mortgage company, CEO, layoffs, drama basically should come up because it shows you the culture. Okay, so you've got people under intense pressure to meet these sales metrics. That doesn't help you guys. Okay, it doesn't help you if someone who's like, the way that I think that the financial relationship needs to work between a lender and a borrower is if I can do something to help you and improve your life, then I will do it. If I can't, I'm gonna talk to you about why we shouldn't. And I know there's more than a few of you who probably watch my videos who I've talked out of refinancing or I've talked out of buying that more expensive house. Now, the reason I do that is because I built my whole business on being as transparent as possible and treating you like I would want someone to treat me, okay? Cool, if I don't, hit a certain number every month, nothing happens to me, okay? I'll make less money, but nothing's gonna happen to me. There's no gun to my head. There's no one barking at me to get apps in. There's nothing like that. It's a different world. Whereas the call center world is definitely more high pressure. So sometimes the advice that you guys are getting, is it genuine? Sure, in some cases, but is there also this looming, have to hit this above it? Absolutely. And right now, because the refinance market has disappeared, I was actually looking at my locked loans the other day, and I was like, oh, cool, because we got so many purchases in last week, which was great because it had been a pretty bad spring so far, just because there was no inventory. And I was like, oh my gosh, so I'm looking at all these loans. We had one refinance, one. Okay. Now keep in mind, all the call centers were feasting on refis for most of 2020, 2021. Prior to that, refis were, even before that boom, it's the core business of a call center is refinances. Okay. They're gone. The rates have gone too high to make refinancing make sense. I'm sure you guys are getting postcards if you own a house that says, hey, take cash out now, because that's like the desperate last attempt to still get refinances in, okay? So you've got all these huge call centers that have always had refis as their business that are now flipping to purchase. Okay, great. So we've established that they have metrics they have to hit with apps and, closings and all of that. We've also established that they get paid less. I feel like we established this. They get paid less than a regular lender. That lender gets paid less than a regular lender. And you're like, oh, it's because they're giving me the savings. No, they're not. Check the rates. Do a rate shop. You are not necessarily saving money because you're working with a call center. Okay, so we've already taken that away. The other thing is like, so who wants to work in a call center? Right? Personally, would I ever work in a call center? No, absolutely not, because I wouldn't be able to run the business the way I want to. I wouldn't be able to make the decision of, hey, actually that's a really terrible idea. I also wouldn't have the ability to do things like hire a Kim, right? Kim, who we've talked about in other videos, her whole job is talking to real estate agents. People who work in call centers don't generally like real estate agents. In a purchase market, you need to like real estate agents. I love good real estate agents. You get me a good real estate agent, I fall in love. Okay? Bad ones, yeah, I still don't like them. I still want you guys with whoever's gonna protect you the best. Call centers, if the realtor's calling them at, 7, 8 o'clock at night, what are the odds they're gonna answer? Not high. I mean, you'll get someone else, but in fairness, no one should be on 24/7, okay? But it's not the business model. It's not the business model where they're gonna have a Kim to take care of your real estate agent. Taking care of the real estate agent is, I would say, 25% of the process. Like the loan, you would think, well, your lender, doesn't just the loan matter? No, I've got to keep the real estate agent happy, or at least confident that we're going to do our job. Because if the real estate agent gets nervous that the deal is not going to close, they often will blow it up themselves. Yeah. So, it's really important that you guys know that these call centers don't have frills like that. It's a churn and burn field. It's you call in, oh yes, we'll take your application, great. Oh yay, go find a house, yay. And can you call and ask them questions? Of course, they're still great. There are some lovely people that work in call centers. I don't want you guys to think I think they're all horrible. There's some really good people, but there's also, it's where you go to cut your teeth. It's where you go to do, your first loan, your second loan, learn how to do a loan. And real estate agents know all this. Okay, they know that you're not getting the cream of the crop when it comes to lender choices. They know that. They know the person's either new or the person doesn't want to originate their own business. That makes the real estate agent nervous. Yeah. And so when you're writing an offer, okay, and the listing agent's like, oh God, sometimes that's because it's the call center, because they've worked with it before and they've had a problem. So this is going to sound, actually, I think this will make perfect sense to you guys. Okay, so how do call centers get their business? They get their business, with marketing advertisements, right? That's how they get all their business. It's not real estate agent referrals. You're never going to see a real estate agent say, oh, call XYZ. I'm not naming companies because they do have deep pockets because they pay their lenders so little to sue. But you're not going to see a real estate agent suggest a call center. I have yet to see that. If you're a real estate agent that suggests call center, please let us know. But so real estate agents aren't going to suggest them. You might get a referral from a friend or family, but their money is made by marketing. They do marketing campaigns, whether it's postcards or internet ads, or it is, banners or TV ads. That's how they get their phone to ring. That's how they originate. okay? And then you call the 1-800 number, you get the call center lender, great. Now, what makes real estate agents nervous about that is because they know that if that person blows up your deal, that phone is still gonna ring every single day nonstop. Whereas if you're working with a retail loan officer, okay, so a retail loan officer, a broker, if you're working with one of those, we all originate our own business, meaning there's no big ad campaign that the company I work for where my phone's ringing off of it. Every single phone call that comes into me is because of something I personally have done, right? Like maybe it's these videos. It's because I think I filmed over 300 videos about mortgage education, right? So if, for instance, you guys have a terrible experience with me, it's gonna be horrible for my business because you're gonna blast me on social media, which is where the bulk of my business comes from. So, my team is always trying to make sure, okay, is everything okay? We have to close on time. Now look, the reason they do that is not just out of fear, it's because we're actually really all passionate. But I've been able to establish that passionate team because of where I am and how I've molded my business. Here, not much power. So, overall, if you guys were gonna save a bunch of money, fine. But if you're not, why would you go with a lender that makes the real estate agents nervous, that doesn't have, the top of the top in the business, and doesn't have the experience that a top retail loan officer or a top broker is gonna have? Because they have a cool ad? Barbie? Bratz dolls? I don't know, McDonald's? I don't even know who these companies advertise with anymore. I actually love McDonald's. I think it's delicious. And I don't care what anyone says about what they think is in the food. I don't care. It's delicious. So just a side note. Anyways, but why? Just why? So what I want you guys to start thinking about with lenders, and I don't just say this sometimes people are like, oh, well, it's sour grapes because that's her competition. I actually don't really see a call center as my competition. If you call them and then you call me and you do the full underwrite with my team, you're gonna see such a big difference that you're gonna be like, oh, thank you for saving me. Seriously, because it's a different world. The questions that you can ask me that I can answer, or Jen on my team, or Sam, or Maria, Chadwick, any of them that they can answer are at such a higher level than what you can generally get answered here. And it's because we've been doing this since the dawn of time. Maria especially, I love her. So if you guys have heard about Maria in other videos, she's one of my processors, and I was talking to her the other day and she was telling me about how she had to do loan apps back in the day on a typewriter. And I was like, you are the OG. So anyways, I digress, but overall, bottom line, stay away from the call centers, guys. If you wanna compare, use them to compare, but if you think you're getting the same level of lender and service and your real estate agent's gonna be as comfortable with you using a call center, you're absolutely wrong. And that's something you guys need to know, because it is still a competitive market, and unless you're gonna be saving a truckload of money, why would you shoot yourself in the foot? Seriously. Okay, so I hope that has been helpful. I know it was a very long video. I was trying to do it kindly because I do have friends in call centers that I like very much. However, the way the sausage is made does not benefit you guys. So once again, please make sure you're exploring all your options. Do not just call an 800 number because they had a cool commercial. Thanks for watching.